Hello, welcome to In and Out The Circle. My name is Marian Baba Alaji, and like every other time, we discuss issues bothering around the family and our children in our homes. How do we get our children to behave and grow up to be the adults we want them to be? Well, today is an interesting day because we're talking about the styles and the methods you employ in your homes to get the best results you want from your children. And to help me do this is one interesting and loving person, Mr. Ivan Heathcote Fumado, and Mr. Opi Amwaku, and my very own Mr. Bernard Bafojewu. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
So, we have been raised in different ways in our homes. Our parents employed different methods, different styles. They got us doing things their own way. They told us how to do things the way they wanted to communicate to us. Now, my question to you is, how do you achieve these same results and better ones with your children? I believe that we all have different views when it comes to how to raise a child, how to get a child to do things, how we expect a parent to behave to a child, and how to communicate. What are your styles? What would you recommend that people use or engage in their homes? Mr. Marco, you can go first.
Thank you very much, Auntie Marianne. In my home, it's either my way or no way. It's either my way or absolutely no way. Because I don't see the point in my child living under my roof wants to behave the way he wants to behave or want to act the way he wants to act. I brought you to this earth in the first place. So no matter the situation, you have to first listen to me first.
Obey before you complain.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's my style. Because there is no way you can come and suggest to me. You don't suggest to me. I feed you. I suggest to you. No end and buts in my house. No. I'm not going to tolerate that. As a child, you have to first listen to your parents first before you take any step you want to take in life. And I suggest every son or every daughter must heed to the advice of the parent first before you can take any decision whatsoever. There is nothing like freedom. We are not going to live in the world of children like Daddy Lumba used to sing, children of the future. No, we are not listening to Daddy Lumba's music.
So your children are not of the future?
They are of the future, but the future we determine for them.
Okay.
Because you are born and raised by me, how do you determine your own future? At the end of the day, you come and blame it on your parent again, talking about my father this, he does that, and all those kind of stuff. Meanwhile, you took some decisions that didn't help you in your life. So how do you expect to blame me? But on the other way around, if I am deciding for you, telling you what to do, if anything goes wrong in your life, you're supposed to blame it on me, and I'll take that blame in good faith. So in my house, it's either my way or no way. Absolutely.
My way or no way from Mr. Marco. Mr. Fumado, I see you shaking your head. Now, before that, I saw Mr. Bafo sit up after he heard Mr. Marco expressing himself. Mr. Ivan.
I don't know why OP will go this very brutish,
I'm not being brutal.
using brute force to train his children. I don't know whether he comes from the military background.
No, I don't come from the military background.
I don't know. But why would you want to be that Adolf Hitler in
just to reinforce Ivan's question, were you raised by a military parent or something? Okay.
I lived on the street. I hustled to make a living, and by God's grace, I have been able to acquire some small things you are enjoying, and you want to make rules and laws for me in my own house. It's either you go live on the street as well, build your own home, then you can behave anyhow you want to behave.
I think he's even exposing himself the more.
How?
Do you love your children?
I love them.
Do you think that the same brains that you have, your children also have brains themselves?
No, it's not a matter of brains. It's a matter of discipline.
So I feel that you cannot raise your children to be zombies or as some people want to call it koliko. Auntie, I am sure that people like OP like this, if they are coming home, their children run away like puppies with their tails in between their legs. Not even dogs with their tails in between their legs. Puppies. Very, very recently, our education minister went to speak in the UN, and he said our children are tamed. We have tamed the children. The very potentials and gifts that God has put in these children, we've tamed it because we are not allowing them to express themselves freely. This is a parent that I doubt that children will be able to even come and suggest something that is even
for suggestion,
he has made that.
You don't suggest because you don't suggest in my house because I feed you. All that I want to hear from you is a yes and a no.
Look, there was a
that
time.
is the only language I understand in my house.
My parents,
no daddy, no kind of expressions,
fine, you can
interpretations and all those kind of stuff. Look, you can term it as puppy or puppet or any kind of phrase you want to use. But my style is you have to be extra disciplined.
Fine.
You have to regard me as your father.
And who said that is the only way for somebody to be disciplined?
But that is my way.
So
that
in my home.
Let's listen. I want to know about that.
It is a democratic environment.
No, we are not practicing democracy in Africa.
You can choose to practice your dictatorship
Mr.
in your
Fumador
house.
here. I think after that you can express
Commander Hill.
yourself.
Fine.
Please no calling of names, gentlemen.
I hear. So in my home, I believe in the principle of training the children and raising them up in love, kindness, respect towards the children, and recognizing that they also have a mind of their own. The children have preferences. They were born differently. They have choices. They have different tastes. They come with different temperaments. And every child should be able to express him or herself within the remits that God created them to live in. So if I see a child, I want to allow that child to just be able to come around me, speak to me, tell me what he wants, suggest things to me, converse with me. Let me hear your thoughts. So I will listen to you. If I need to explain things to you, I will explain and discuss it with you till I either get your attention to be convinced about what I'm talking about, or allow you to go ahead do what you have to do, so that if there are any consequences, you get to learn from it. How do the children get to learn from their own mistakes?
Why must you make the mistake in the first place?
Okay.
It's in our part of the world that we think making mistakes are part of life. No, they are not.
Okay.
Especially when you go to the German, the Dutch, they don't consider mistakes. Then they don't consider those facts that you cannot be 100% and all those kind of stuff. You have to be perfect. How can you be making mistakes? Do you know that one mistake that you can make in your life?
You expect the children to be perfect?
Yes, that is the way I am bringing them up. They are expected to be perfect in my home. Once you are fully grown up, you go under your own roof. You can decide whatever you want to decide, but not under my roof.
Very well. Very well. On that note, Mr. Fumador, I would want you to exercise some patience here. So very well. That actually means that you have put yourself in a place where you recognize yourself as a perfect human being.
Yes.
Okay.
How can he call himself perfect?
That depends on you and your own interpretation of perfect.
If you don't go through an experience, you don't become perfect.
In my dictionary, when I look at my life, I consider myself a perfect gentleman.
Because you went through an experience.
You see, in this life, we are talking about parenting, not shepherd. A parent is different from a shepherd.
All right.
When Jesus went to the temple and realized people were selling there, that time he turned into a parent, not a shepherd.
All right.
Yes, that's why he brought up a rod. And the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. So why do you expect me to shepherd the child like that, shepherd him, pamper him, and you'll be having a swollen head like this? Before you realize, you will be bringing so much problems into your house. You know my house is a no-go area. You better don't bring any problem into the house.
Mr. Do you have, Mr. Fumador, Mr. Marco, do you have an age limit to this?
No.
You don't?
No.
So
as long as you are still living under my roof,
okay,
you are under my care, my protection, my laws, my rules,
You
my
do it to your
regulations,
teens.
everything.
You do it to your children, your
Not
toddlers,
my
your
teens,
teens,
even
everybody.
my wife under my roof.
wow.
Yes, you must submit to me because I built it myself. Everything that I'm enjoying in life was built from scratch by myself.
Mr. Marco,
Yes.
I
auntie.
very well understand where you're coming from. Your sweat, your labor has actually positioned you at this particular
Yes.
stance.
And I wouldn't watch that go in drain.
Very well. Mr. Marco, I would want to find out from you, if you had acquired your wealth in a different way, not through your sweat, maybe your parents probably would have handed it over to you or something along the years, probably would you have a different stance?
Aunt Marian, there is a saying that no contribution, no chop. Once you contributed to it,
Okay.
you have an upper hand over it. And once I am 100% a contributor to my properties, my businesses, my home, I become the boss there.
Okay.
I'm not the leader. I'm not a leader in my home.
Okay.
I'm a boss. So when you come to my home, you're supposed to play to my tune. Even my siblings, when they enter my house, they know that this is a barracks.
Okay.
Not a military barracks, but a parenting barracks. You dare not joke there.
So at that point, your siblings become your children?
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't want that kind of treatment, you better stay in your house. Don't come to my house.
It's about
My home is my home. I decide and it is final. No but, no jest, no suggestion. You don't suggest in my house.
This is a very insecure man.
Why do you say that?
He's very insecure.
I'm very secured.
And very selfish too.
I'm not selfish.
Me, I. And that is the same style that he's parenting his children. And he doesn't want them to experience.
When I was living on the street, did anybody use the word we for me?
You
Mr.
forget
Marco,
about the living on the street.
Have you actually come to terms with your current life? Do you know where you are now?
Before you realize
You keep making references to the
yes,
streets. Are you?
but before you get you know your future, you have to first know your past. So I know my past, and I wouldn't watch any Tom, Dick, and Harry just bring down my hard-earned labor, my hard-earned repetition, just because you are my daughter, you are my son. You just go about just beating up.
Let's hold that thought.
Thank you very much.
Let's hold that thought. I'll come back to you, Mr. Bafo.
Yes,
Are you here?
yes, I'm around.
You have met Mr. Marco.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are enthused.
Yes, very. Maybe a little weird because eventually he's going to bring up robots, not human beings. Because the robots are the only things that you just instruct and they'll follow.
Yeah.
So I don't get why he's only insisting that everything should come from him. If everything is going to come from him, eventually he's going to produce himself
In the children.
And I don't think your children are you.
Mr. Bafo, I don't totally agree with what you are saying because I see myself and the people around me see me to be a better person. So there is no bad issue in bringing myself in my children.
I'm sure the taste of your kids are not the same as your taste.
But they are my kids.
Yes, they are your kids.
They are my blood. They are my DNA. Everything that a kid needs in a father, I give to them.
When you die, your children should also die?
No, they mustn't die. When I die, that is when they decide what to do with their life. That is when they decide because they take overall control over whatever I'm
Marco,
doing.
if you said that,
Wait
Are you going to have the same?
Gentlemen.
They argue to their prayer.
Gentlemen, please, one person at a time.
Are you going to have the same woman that you have as your wife or your kids?
I come again.
I'm asking if you are married to a fair colored woman, are you going to have the same type of woman for your kids?
I wouldn't decide on their relationship. Because when it comes to matters of relationship, it's matters of the heart. But when it comes to matters of parenting, it's matters of
know that
command.
they have different hearts, then it means they may also have
You can't
different
have a
sentiments.
different heart in my house. You can only have a different heart in
No,
your
but besides when
relationship.
it comes to matters of relationship, it
Yes.
depends on the,
Mr.
on the
Marco,
hearts.
Mr. Marco, Mr. Bafo, I think that Mr. Marco here is contradicting himself one way or the other. I just heard you say that if it comes to matters of the heart, the heart relates to different things. It could be the choice of probably even career or other matters.
When it comes to career and matters of relationship, I wouldn't budge in. But to tell you honestly, in my house, you don't decide when to come home.
How old are your children, Mr. Mo?
My children are in their teens. My firstborn is 15 years old. My secondborn is 13 years old. And my thirdborn is 10 years old. And you expect me to give them that kind of a freedom?
Well, we're having a discussion. We are not there yet.
Yes.
I would also want to find out from you, Mr. Fumado, 1 minute. Do you think that your kids are happy?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Because whatever they need, I provide. So there is no need suggesting for me.
All right.
As a father, I've lived on the street. I've lived the life
Malcolm, this is the 4th mention of street.
Yes.
You are very proud of your street life.
Yes, because the street is where I belong to and where I come from. And I've realized I've experienced different kinds of life, which I don't want my children to pass through the same kind of pains I went through whilst I was on the street. I've made myself available to provide every single thing they need in life for them. So why do you come and suggest to me? You need food, food is there. You need clothing, clothing is there. Why should you come and suggest? What are you suggesting?
Very well noted. Hold that thought. Before Mr. Fumado, you even go ahead. Let's get to the results of some of these things. You want to say, or you are saying that it is what you say that will have to happen in your
Yes.
Mr. Fumado, I want to believe that what you're actually saying in the shortest possible sentence is that you want to guide your children, let them make choices, and then have their own mistakes and experiences.
Exactly, because that is what makes them have that ability to make positive choices when they grow up. You know, persons like OP are the same people who are creating the leadership problems that we have in our country.
No.
They can't take decisions.
No. This country is suffering because we don't have discipline.
They cannot create
gentlemen,
anything.
let's get back to the business.
Yes.
Let's get to the back. I think we're veering into
So
politics here.
when he was talking, I was listening to him. He shouldn't budge in. You see, leadership is about taking initiatives, being able to even create, innovate.
And it's also about discipline.
The creativity that comes with it.
But don't forget the discipline.
But who told you that the children who are taught to be able to make decisions of their own can't make decisions about discipline?
No, it's about strict rules, strict regulations. Have you
Strict
ever
rules,
have you
strict
ever
regulations.
entered a
Put
barracks
them
and seen
in the same strict
that being dirty before?
that they cannot make? But who told you my house is dirty? Come to my house and see my children.
No, I'm not talking about your house.
They
are the ones
discipline zone.
They are the ones making
Gentlemen.
the rules about home cleaning. They are deciding how the house should be kept neat.
But
they are
I'm also
deciding
asking
on
you
different things.
a very broad
So I don't have to wake up in the morning.
Mr. Fumado, I think that will hold.
Let me land on this point. I don't have to wake up in the morning holding a cane to go and let my children either do their house chores or do anything. They've now learned so much that they make their own decisions. They know that it is a responsibility and then a duty that has a meaning to it. They understand why they should do what they are doing. They are not doing it because you're holding a cane to their heads and instructing them that if they don't do it, they are going against rules. They will be beaten, they will be whipped.
On that note, Mr.
Auntie Marian,
do you think by any chance that in your absence your children will do what you have always asked them to do? Based on what Mr. Fumado said.
Even a dangerous animal, in his absence, the other animals will know that this is the den of a lion. You dare not.
Perfect answer. Well, if you just tuned in, this is In and Out The Circle. My name is Marian Babalaji, and we are discussing the various parenting styles in our homes. What is ideal for you? What works for your children? What works for you? And what results do you get? Mr. Bafo, the gentlemen are on fire. Everybody believes in what he is doing.
Yes, no parent will want to sit by for a child to do whatever. But it doesn't mean that you should tie the hands of the child to your hands. At least the taste of the child may be different. The food that you like may not be the same food that the child may like. I'm not saying that give the child the opportunity to suggest whatever food that he or she will want to eat. No. But it doesn't mean that everything that you like, your children should like. So at least get the time to know something about your kids. It does not mean you are a reckless parent. Being so strict and being like a soldier in the house doesn't make you a very good parent.
Neither does it make me a bad one.
Yes, I understand that. But there have been several parents who have been so strict, yet their kids had their way. When they had their way, they became wayward.
When you start having your way, you move out of my roof.
So you cease to be a parent. When
I don't cease to be a parent. You would rather cease to be my child. I never cease to be a parent. I will rather disown you than to watch you disobey me.
Okay. So if your child rebels against you, will you be happy?
Then he moves.
The fact is,
how can you be rebelling against me and be living under the same roof with me?
You think,
do I know when you are going to kill me?
When you are older than somebody, you think you are stronger than the person.
No.
Now when the kids get to 15, 16, and try them if you want to. When they were 4 and you were beating them with canes, when they get to 15, their teenage periods, yes. If you try them, if you don't take care, they can beat you.
I will use blow on them.
Have you checked
my height?
No, it's not about your height.
I've lived on the street. You want to engage me in a banter?
Now you see.
Calm down.
Check this.
We're just having a.
If you produce a rebel, the rebel will rebel against you.
And no rebel can come out of my.
No, you believe in your skin.
Yes.
You haven't tried. That is why when it comes to boxing and others, even football, when you grow a little, you are not allowed to play because you are not as strong as you were when you were younger.
But
now, everybody thinks that so long as he's older than another person, he's stronger. Try sometimes and see. Your child will give you a blow.
Mr. Bafo, I think that Mr. Mwako is struggling to accept and
the fact that
yes,
peoples are different.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mr. Mwako, when Mr. Bafo talks about your children being rebellious, don't relate it only to even physical strength.
Any kind of rebellion.
Very well.
Any kind of rebellion.
Let me give an example.
Wouldn't be tolerated under my roof.
Now that you have given your stance, now that you have told us what you believe in,
yes,
where you stand in raising your children, Mr. Marco, let's now have a conversation.
I'm listening.
There's a book called Peoples Are Different, written by Bishop Kosisapo. You understand? We are not the same. Yes, we may be like each other, but even if we are twins, you will not be the same. That is how nature is. No. Else, human beings will be, there will be no diversity. We will all be like robots.
Mr. Marco, I think we should listen to Mr.
So, yes, give a room to your children to operate, but make sure you monitor the kind of room that they get for themselves. It doesn't mean you are a weak parent. It doesn't mean you are a weak parent. If you become too strong, your kids will tend to be rebellious. Mm-hmm. Now, a rebellious child can do anything. A rebellious child, would you love to see your child as an armed robber? If my father is like a soldier all the time, if I get out of the house, I am not going to engage in any soft life. I am going to be a hardcore guy on the street. And I'm not sure any good parent will want to see his child or her child as a rebel, walking as a thug, walking around.
Mr. Bafo, do you know one thing? By the way I'm living with my children in the house, they've come to realize that everybody who is almost as the same as your parent, once he speaks, is final. So from their school reports and everything that is coming from their teachers is satisfying everything that I have taught them in the house.
Very well noted,
That they
Mr.
are cool,
Mwaku.
right?
They are cool. They don't give their teachers problem.
They are timid.
Once they are
Mr. Mwaku.
they are not
They are
timid. My children can never be timid.
Gentlemen, let's calm down. Mr. Mwaku, I think that you have made your stance clear. Now,
Yes.
all I will ask of you right now is to give us ears. Open up your heart. Open up your mind. From the streets life.
Aunt Marian, how can I become a watchman monitoring my children whilst I can easily set a
You
street
can be
rule?
a parent and a soldier in your home, but not on my show.
Thank you very much. I totally agree with you.
Exactly. So
Thank
we'll
you.
come back to the point. Mr.
Thank you.
Now, like I was saying, open up your mind, open up your heart, and let's have a discussion.
Thank you. I'm listening.
Now, in raising children, I would even basically link it to the material called metal. When metals are too hard, when they are too brittle, what happens to them?
They break.
Then we weld it back.
And they'll break again.
Then we weld it back again.
And can you imagine the number of joints we would have on the welded metal?
Then we are going to scrap it
Those
with
are
a grinder.
And how bad the metal will even
Exactly,
look like.
and those are scars. Now, nobody is saying that put down your stuff or let go of your power. All we are saying is that hold on to your power, but respect that there is a junior you out there. So help that child be the best version of him or her and not of you. Zamakon, I believe that you are coming home to me.
No, I'm not getting your point.
I'm coming to that. I'm just saying that it's not always about you. You have well lived your life. You have achieved most of the things you want to achieve. And you are proud of yourself. And I am proud of you. All I'm saying is that your little ones, you see that courage you had, that innovation you had when you were on the street to get to where you are. They have your genes, like you said. But will they be given the opportunity to use their genes?
What kind of opportunity do they want?
Now, when they go to school, you said their teachers say that they are respectful and all that. Mr. Mwaku, I would want to state on this show explicitly, timidity is not the same as respect. Timidity can never be equal to respect.
But I know...
We teach our children most often than not to be timid and not respectful.
Yeah.
But I know the teachers know better and which kind of vocabulary should
I would
use.
want to respect that the teachers know better, but I would want you to remember this anytime. That the fact that your kids are coiled in and are massa and all that. Mr. Mwaku, research has shown that people who are easily subdued or who are submissive in homes and in certain environments, when they get to another environment, they like to exhibit
You only exhibit
that
when you are
part
totally...
of theirs of also overshadowing others.
And in my
You
case...
see, at the end of the day, what just happened a few minutes ago, which I clearly remember, is that you always forget that you are not in your home, you are not a soldier everywhere. Even on my show, you wanted to overshadow me.
No.
But you see, all we are saying is that don't throw your entire soldier thing away. I may have a bit of you. Mr. Mwaku, I may have a bit of the soldier parent you have. But then it is not always engageable. I do not need that skill all the time. When you need it, you apply it. But when you do not need it, how can you be policing and being all macho even in your sleep?
A barracks is always a barracks.
Exactly. But you see,
even
the military man is not a military man at home. He's
no
a
matter
parent.
how empty
He's
a barracks is.
Mr. Bafo, I want to believe I'm right.
Yes, you are right. What I think is that, as you said, timidity and humility are not the same.
Not at all.
When you think your kids are humble, others see that they are timid. And so we get to know this, that if you are so strict, it doesn't make your kids happy. At least give them some room to
Mr.
preach.
Mr. Bafo, sorry to cut. Mr. Bafo, I have experienced you better. I have seen you. I have known you for some years now. I know you're a kind-hearted man.
Yes.
I know you're a good person.
Yes.
And for that reason,
which my kids knows as well.
Exactly. And for that reason, I want to believe that this show will pay off. That your children will see. I know you are not the kind of man on the show you accept that, okay, I've changed my mind. But I know that you pick one or two nuggets here and there.
Which the children will be very happy about.
And
Did they tell you that they are not happy?
Men like this feel
They feel
about insecurity.
The children don't have to show you they are not excited. They want to please you anyway. So how do they come and tell you that
And how can they
are not happy
and go out into the schools and also please the teachers at the same time?
Yes, because you have frightened them to live with the notion of timidity.
If they are indeed pretending, how would they?
Mr. Wako, I know that when you go to your pillow tonight, you would pick some of the things that have been discussed here. Now, because we do not have so much time on our hands, right? Let's see how best we can all make this work. Let's compromise. Zamakon, you mentioned that you're a soldier parent. I would want to describe Mr. Fumado's style of parenting as the shepherd type, Mr. Bafo, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Now, there's another type of parent we haven't mentioned here. That is the Santa parent. The parent who's like Santa Claus. Everything the child wants, take. Because I didn't have what you have at my age, and
That
I want to
wouldn't
give
happen
everything.
in my house.
Exactly. That's exactly the opposite side of who you are and what you are now. And then there's a fourth type, which I'm sure you may not even want to hear about. Is the type of parent who's like a statue.
Me, a statue.
Exactly.
In my house.
So
that I built with my sweat.
Parent who is a statue basically is not involved in any way. He or she would probably believe that the child should do what he wants to do. Go and try and see, make his own mistakes, and then see how best life will treat him, and then he'll move along. But Mr. Macron, again, none of these styles, these four styles I have mentioned, the soldier, the shepherd, the Santa, and the statue, none of them is holistic. Depending on the situations, the ages, the environment, situational factors again, the temperament of the children and the temperament of the parent, you would need to employ one skill or one style at a particular time, or even more. There are times you will have to flip within seconds. It's just about managing the situation. You do not need to please your children all the time, especially when you do not have the means to.
I don't have to please my children.
Exactly. So all I'm also saying is that, so you see, for once I have sided with you. I'm sure you're liking me right now.
No, I'm not liking what you are saying. Because
the thing is that the Broniba, who is not going through what Mr. OP's parenting style is going through, he's the one who has that freedom and ability to think, to create the car that he drove in to this place. If a child has been able to even create
remember, we are living in different world. We are living in a different world.
The tow tracker, because he has not been trained to think, to be creative.
Ivan, one thing you should understand that is two different worlds we are living in. A white man's son or daughter can even drive his car at the age of 10, but here, before you realize that 10 years old child might be run over. Yes,
just like that.
Mr.
will never allow his child to drive that car at 10 years.
My car, even my shirt, when they see it, they become frightened.
So
my shirt.
So you see what your children are.
How much more my car?
So you see what your children can do at this age.
Mr. Fumado, gentlemen, please, let's.
When is their time to drive? I will show them.
I know something.
Yes, tell us.
What I know is parents like this feel insecure. Unfortunately, their wives do not know their weaknesses. They are the ones who can easily be beaten by their wives. You know, the way he talks, if you're a woman, you conclude that this may be a very strong person. If you get to know the weakness of such people, they are the ones that can be beaten easily by ladies.
I don't have a weakness.
You see,
in my home. I don't have a weakness in my home.
Even know that
what is my weakness? My wife.
Wait, he doesn't even know that it's even a human.
Gentlemen, please.
In my home,
if you
I might have a weakness outside, but not in my home.
Thank you for that. If you just tuned in, my name is Marian Babalaji, and it is In and Out the Circle. We're doing everything parenting, everything family life. And today, like we earlier discussed, we are discussing the various styles and ways we can raise our children. I have with me Mr. Opi Amwaku, who is of a stance of the soldier. And then we have Mr. Ivan Heathcote Fumado, who also believes that you should work hand in hand with your children, more like the shepherd style. And we've also discussed how you can be a statue parent and then a Santa parent as well. You make your choice yourselves, and then you see what works for you. But all we have said today basically relates to the fact that you may not need one style all the time throughout your life. You may need to employ different styles, different skills, different methods at a particular time, at a particular situation in your life. Now, Mr. Bafo is here, and he made a very strong statement earlier about Mr. O.P.,
which is wrong.
That
my wife.
He could easily be beaten by his
my
wife. I'm very enthused about that. I wish I could know more about it, but because of lack of time, Mr. Balfour, you I have known for a while, and you always check our grammar. Okay. Now, before we wrap up this particular conversation, because the gentlemen are still strong on their stance, I believe that there's a saying in Tree that says that Sunia Madrin. So I want to believe that when Mr. P goes to lie on his pillow, he will have some nuggets pop up and still consider some of the things we have said yet today.
That depends on the kind of pillow I'm going to lie on.
Very well, I'll buy you one.
Because that pillow is even a soldier pillow.
The wife will beat him and take the pillow away.
And you see, the man is in an interesting color. He's in a military kind of color. Wow.
I enjoy this kind of army color, this camouflage. I always enjoy them because
Mr. Marco, before you even go to Mr. Balfour, do you know what your children want to be in future?
What I want them to be is what they are going to be.
Very well. Mr. Balfour,
yes, Auntie.
Check our grammar.
Okay, a few things that we can talk about. The use of the word severally. Yes, when you use severally, it does not mean, it is not an adverb of several. Severally simply means separately. The opposite of severally is jointly. So when you say severally, it doesn't mean several. It has nothing to do with several in this case. So, for instance, if you go to court and then you have a case and another person also has a case, you present a joint case, so it is jointly. But if it is treated separately, one, then that becomes severally. So if somebody says, I've talked to him severally, it is wrong. You can simply say, I've talked to him several times. Okay. So when it comes to severally, that is what we can talk about. And then let's also talk about the use of the word banter. Banter has got nothing to do with quarrel. Today, between Uncle Mr. Opi and Uncle Mr. Fumado,
yes,
I think there wasn't a banter. It was more or less like a quarrel. Now, if it is banter, it means you have some jokes undertones. So when you are just exchanging jokes and then teasing here and there, that is banter. Unfortunately, in our context, people use this word to mean that there's a quarrel between two people. So that is basically what I want to draw our attention to.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm happy Mr. Amwaku seems happy about it. He's taking it in good faith. I didn't think he would want to.
No, I've lived on the street and I even learned my English on the street.
Mr. Amwaku and street.
Yes, I even learned my English on the street. So if you are correcting me on my English, I will accept it in good faith. but not my
Mr.
home.
Mabu, before we go there, so if any of your kids knew this and wanted to tell you about it, how would the child do that?
You want to correct me on my English? You that is paying your school fees. Imagine.
Okay.
These ones are easily beaten by
Gentlemen, the last words. Mr. Ivan, you go from it.
Look, I maintain that children are supposed to be brought up in an environment that allows them to express themselves, but that also engenders the discipline in them. So it's not all the time that you are going to darling pet them all the time. There are some times that as you guide them to make their decisions, you make them understand why at this stage you will not allow this to pass or you're not allowed that to pass. Convince them for them to understand. And you are guiding them. So in a way, you are learning a bit of OP's style, but in a more inclusive way than the military brute force that he prefers and enjoys to use, for which reason he will wear some camouflage and then be sitting here. And so I think just as you said, it's a mix. So even though I opposed him, I've learned something small, but I will not apply it the way that he applies it in his home. So that with the blend and everything, I think we should be having good homes as parents.
Auntie Marian.
Mr. Mwaku, I was just about to call you, but since you have presented yourself, please go ahead.
I also stand by the point that train up the child the way he should grow, so when he or she grows, he will not depart from it. Like, I can also see from my colleague, Ivan, that shepherd kind of stuff. Before Jesus realized, I'm the good shepherd and he was on the cross. Yes, me, I'm not going to be a shepherd so that they will put me on the cross. I wouldn't watch my children put me on the cross. I'm not a shepherd. I'm a parent. And I always come with my staff and my rod. I will comfort you and direct you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mr. Mwaku.
But he mentions that he would direct the children.
So at least that's, I was just
My
going to come to that.
direction, you
You
understand me and you know my point. So when it comes to my direction,
Mr. Fumado, I appreciate your English and I know what you meant by the direction.
yes.
Bless your heart. Mr. Bafo.
I think every parent should be on the lookout. And every parent also should give room to children to operate. Parents who are so strict have some insecurities. And the kind of behavior that they put out comes out of the fact that they feel insecure. Because as a result of that, they behave like this as a defensive mechanism. And so if you get to know their weakness, they are the easy guys that you can easily beat. And especially the women, when they get to know that my husband is shout, he can shout and do all that. That is a source of defensive mechanism that the person may rely on. And then anybody with such a defensive mechanism also has some weakness. And that is why he tries to let everybody know that he or she is the soldier around. And so if the kids get to know that my father can shout, if you shout for some time and they get to know that the shout cannot do anything to them, that is where the problem comes. The kids can rebel, and then that will be a negative for you. If, for instance, you are so strict and say you chase your son out of your house, then it means you are not a successful parent.
Yeah.
You have a divided house. So long as the kid goes out with your name and he goes out to misbehave, your name is going to be part of that kind of misbehavior. And so it is for every parent to sit down and think of the fact that, yes, I want to have my way, but I want to guide rather than pushing my kid to do exactly what I want him or her to do. So a parent should guide, a parent should give examples. For instance, if you have done, when you were a kid, you went through a difficult situation, you have to let your kid know that, yes, I did this, I didn't have it easy, so please don't do it. Let the kid understand why you are asking him or her not to do something. So basically, yes, be a soldier, but be a shepherd and be
A Santa
an advisor and a Santa Claus and all that to your kids.
Well, family, it's been a good show, and I believe that you have enjoyed every bit of this discussion. With the stance of the gentleman, I believe that one day soon we would have to meet again. Maybe, hopefully, by then Mr. Amwakun and Mr. Fumado may have some common grounds, and we would all have some peace. This is In and Out The Circle. My name is Marian Babalaji. Please visit our social media handles on In and Out The Circle, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and then like, comment, subscribe, and share. Once again, thank you so much, and have a good day.